The Economic Development Committee recently conducted an agritourism tour in Loudoun County, Virginia. The tour was organized by the Office of Agriculture in collaboration with the Economic Development Committee and Loudoun County. Staff from Montgomery County's Department of Permitting Services, Park and Planning Commission, and the County Executive's Office also joined the tour.
Welcome everybody to Loudoun County for the tour of some of our agribusinesses.
The tour included stops at Longstone Farm in Lovettsville, Hillsboro Old Stone School, and Hillsboro Vineyards and Brewery, both in Hillsboro. Each business shared what is working for them as well as their challenges. The first stop on the tour was Longstone Farm, a grass-based diversified livestock operation owned by Justin and Casey Wish. It produces non-GMO pastured pork, beef, lamb, chicken, and eggs on over 250 acres.
So my husband and I'm going to give you all the background of the farm and kind of where we started, then we'll kind of get more into where we're at now.
Casey and her husband also often host tours and farm-to-table dinners in their barn where they talk about their farming practices. And they recently expanded into the craft beverage industry with their Blue Wall cider and wine label.
It's really just a kind of desire of ours to have an orchard on the farm. We've always loved some good wine and cider. So for us, it's really hard to sell pork chops sometimes, but the wine and cider has really opened the door for us on a whole new marketing level for our core passion, which is the farm. And then also from a local zoning regulation standpoint, it's really helped us be able to do the farm dinners.
What's the capacity here? Do you have a maximum number of people? Or?
The county has regulations on how many people are allowed to be out here, and that ties into toilets and it ties into water. So we would just apply to the health department and say, hey, we're gonna get an on-site permit for the day. We're inspected, they've been out here many times, on cooler holding temperatures, on setup. They're very careful with our sanitary setup, and they'll test the different fluids in the containers. We were not eligible within Loudoun County zoning to have an agricultural educational event because those are currently cut off at, I think it's 5 or 6 p.m., which we've urged the county to amend the zoning regulation on that for producers like us, but because of that one specific clause in the zoning document, we are ineligible to operate as an agricultural educational. Any evening activities are rendered not an option.
The second stop at the Hillsboro Old Stone School included presentations from the Loudoun County Department of Economic Development, the Loudoun B&B Guild, as well as Visit Loudoun.
Loudoun County is the top generator of visitor revenue in the Commonwealth of Virginia. In 2007, we did a market research study. And we took a look at what does Loudoun want to be from a visitor perspective. Where we ended up landing was DC's wine country. And we did that through a tremendous amount of research. And we also knew, working very closely with economic development, that there were more wineries in the pipeline.
And then as staff come together around that data, around that information, so that we can move forward for the benefit of the entire community. And I think that's what our partnership has really allowed Loudoun to do, is for staff to focus where we focus and what we have, and use our partners in really strategic, effective ways.
One of those partnerships is with the Loudoun County Bed and Breakfast Guild, a nonprofit that manages lodging properties in the area.
Not only do we have lodging properties that provide unique stays, we also have hospitality partners and winery, breweries, restaurants, places, or sip, savor, stay, play, explore, and more are kind of the 6 categories where we have members in our organization. We have actually a marketing campaign that we started last year called Perks Pass. And what this is a card that when you stay at one of our guild lodging properties, the homeowner, the innkeeper, will give you a card that gives you special offers at our hospitality partners. So when you're staying with us, you're actually getting benefits there as well.
When we first opened our B&B, I used to ask at a restaurant, maybe a server came up, I said, do you know a difference between a B&B and an Airbnb? And many don't. because they grew up at a different time, right? So we are trying really hard. That's been angst for me. You know, some young people come in and they don't realize that the breakfast is free. So we have to constantly be teaching. And that's something that we're rolling out this coming year, is really kind of trying to educate a little bit better. And we have our organizational partners, Economic Development, Visit Loudoun, and the Chamber of Commerce. We all work together and help each other.
Hillsborough Vineyards and Brewery was the third and last stop. It is a family-owned and operated winery situated on 36 acres.
With the organization that we're created, the trade organization, the Loudoun Wineries Association, we try to put together a lot of programs that help support our industry as well. And we do a lot of these programs in association with the county. They provide funding, we get funding from our memberships, and then we put something together that helps us all very much.
So how do you balance your model for opening to the public, but maybe having to close to the public because you have a private event? Mm-hmm. And so, how do you encourage business during your downtime?
During the downtime, so we're offering a lot of business meetings like something like this. Mm-hmm. So normally, if a business wants to do like a team building meeting or exercise, then we're offering this space for people to come in to rent, and we can offer, in addition to that, not just renting out the space, but we're offering an educational aspect of the wine industry as well. So we're teaching them about us. And we're trying to say, okay, well, this is a kind of a fun little exercise. So after they do their business meeting for whatever amount of time, then we'll give them a tour of the winery, tour of the vineyard, and if they're interested in a tasting, we'll give them a tasting of the wine. This does a few things. A, this helps the use of our space. It doesn't just stay idle. But B, it also brings in clientele that we normally wouldn't get.
This is a beautiful view right here.
It was such a beautiful day to be in Virginia, learning how they deal with agritourism. It's great to see when you have so many uses happening in one location. That's like one of the best examples of agritourism, right? Using agriculture as the main source of income and seeing what else you can do to support farming in that particular site. And it was cool to see. The collaboration that they have, we do collaborate with Montgomery County, but I think they do it in a different way, and it's always good to stop and see how other people are doing business, and also analyze how you're doing things that they're not doing, and perhaps we're doing it better. It was an opportunity just to have that reality check.
It's really good to see what other areas are doing where they have a mix of more urban or urban approximate zones within their county and more rural areas like we are here out in the western part of Loudoun County, to see how they're maximizing economic development and tourism opportunities in those more rural areas. It was really fascinating to be able to ask questions from the different types of providers within the western part of Loudoun County, whether it's at our winery like we are here, or different lodging providers.
In Loudoun County, I'm Roshai Sahalu.